Google Sheets weekly warm-up averages part 2. And in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to create the sheet and use a formula to average. So here we go, let's begin. If I go too quickly, please pause the video, rewind the video as you need to. I'm trying to make these videos short so that way they're quick and fast to watch. All right, the first thing I would do is I would go to the Chrome browser and I would type sheets.new. This is a quick way to create a new spreadsheet without having to go through your Google Drive, though you could also do that. The next thing that I would do is I would title your spreadsheet. This is kind of important so that way you can find it in your Drive later. So I'm going to title this Google Sheets Weekly Warm Up Averages. And that's a detailed description so that I don't forget where this is. And lastly, just to create the spreadsheet, you're going to click Move over here, this little icon. Of course, if you created this in your Drive, you could actually go to the folder you wanted to put this in. But for this purpose, I'm going to click Move there, and I'm going to put it in my COVID-19 folder. I'm going to go ahead and click Move here. That way, when you do sheets.new, it lives in your Drive, just on the home of your Drive. It can get very, very cluttered. If you create folders within your Drive, just a little bit more organized and helps you find things a little bit easier. All right, so now that we've created our sheets, the next thing we are going to do is we're going to create headers. Headers belong in row 1 on our spreadsheet, and it just gives us information about what we're going to be putting in the columns. So in column 1, I'm going to be putting the class number. Row 2, I'm going to be putting first name of the student. And then column 3, excuse me, I'm going to put last name of the student. And the reason I do this is so that later when I sort this, I can sort it by last name. If you just put first name and last name in the same column, that's fine. But I suggest you to put last name, then first name, like that, like last comma first. Otherwise, you're going to be sorting by first name, and Skyward doesn't do that. So I wouldn't do that either. All right, so next you're going to type warm up 1, warm up 2, and so on and so forth, up to 5 warm-ups because it's for a week. I'm going to show you the first trick in Google Sheets, which is it sees that you have put a number here. And so if you just highlight, click and drag over these 2 cells, there's this little blue box. Click and drag that box over 1, 2, 3 more cells, and it'll actually add to it. So now it says warm up 1, warm up 2, warm up 3, warm up 4, warm up 5. And then finally, week 1. So this is going to be like week 1's average. It's kind of important that you understood what I just did there. So if not, go back and watch that click and drag thing and try to understand what Google Sheets did, because later we're going to be using that trick a bunch. All right, so here we go. I've taken the liberty of copying and pasting, and I'm just going to paste some random information, but the next thing you're going to be doing is typing class numbers, first names, and last names of all of your students. So there you go. So that's setting it up. You're going to want to type in numbers here. So I'm going to use a formula called rand between. You do not have to know this formula, but it starts with equals, and then you type rand between, open up your parentheses, type the lowest number that you want with a comma, and then the highest number that you want, and then close your parentheses. So 0 to 100, that's a normal grade. I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to give me a random number there. And watch again, a cool trick in Google Sheets is I can click this little blue box and I can drag it over, and it'll repeat that formula for me. So now all of these cells have that equals rand between 0 and 100. And then I can actually highlight all of those cells and I can drag that down. So the reason I'm doing random numbers is obviously these aren't real people. We wish they were, but so they don't really have any grades in the grade book. And this is just a quick way for me to get some data for us. If you're using this rand between formula, I suggest you copying it afterwards and right-clicking in the first cell that you typed a grade in, and then pasting it as values only. Because if you don't, that random number is going to change each and every single time you make a change. All right. So this is the last thing that I'm going to show you for this video, and that's how to average these. So we're going to average these 5 numbers and put that average right here. And it is a formula, just like I did equals rand between. The formula for average is equals average. That one's kind of easy. And you're going to open up your parenthesis, and now it's going to ask you what you want to average. You can always click this question mark if you need some help recognizing what the formula is asking you for. It's asking you for values. So I'm going to click and I'm going to drag over these 5 numbers because those are the 5 numbers I want to average. I'm going to close my parenthesis, hit enter, and now it's averaged those for me. Again, I don't want to type this formula over and over and over again, so guess what I'm going to do? Think about it. I'm going to use this blue box, and I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it down all the ways to the last student, and watch what it's going to do. Now it's going to average each and every student's grade. Think about how long this takes you on a piece of paper to do and how long this spreadsheet just took to do. And I don't even have that great of internet. So now that we've averaged all of these, click the I column and press this decrease decimal places as many times as you need to make this a whole number, because Skyward will only recognize a whole number. So there you go. This is how to create weekly warm-up averages. In the next video, we'll be formatting this. And in the following videos, we'll be creating the entire spreadsheet. All right, or workbook, I guess I should say. So that's all for now.